Hey, this is Frank at the RV shop here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And today we're going to take a look at this 2024 Luxe Cruiser by Midwest Automotive Designs. This is, of course, on the Sprinter chassis. And this is one of the last of the 6-cylinder models. This is a 2024 titled vehicle, but it has the 3.0 V6 turbocharged V6. So not many of these left. They're all pretty much all the rest are going to be the 4-cylinder version with the twin turbos. We're going to take a look at this van. I'm going to do an orientation, show you how to use the major components on this van, show you around, and make sure you know how to use it once you have it, right? Alright, so here on the front, and I apologize if there's a lot of noise here because we got a lot of traffic going back and forth. So here on the front, of course, we have one camera. You can barely see it right there. This camera right under the logo there. This van is equipped with the 360 bird's eye view camera system. So you have a view all the way around the van. So you got that camera in the front, you got cameras on the sides mounted on the mirrors, and then of course a rear view camera. So all together they give you a great bird's eye view of the van. Also, we got a little step right here, so you can step up on that if you need to clean your windshield or something. So that is great. Now coming up here on the side, you see those little black dots. Those are your perimeter sensors or obstacle detection sensors. Those are what cause the beeping inside when you're getting close to an object. Now mirrors have cameras mounted right underneath right there. Opening the door, you will find that's where you add fuel, right? That's where your diesel fuel goes. Just inside the kick panel right there is your hood release to release the hood. Under the hood is where you will add your DEF. I'm not going to pop open the hood right now, but I will just say that your DEF fluid you're going to add there's a blue cap right here that says DEF right on it. On this side there's a cap that's for your windshield washer fluid, so that's where you add that. Moving on this way, this connection that you see right there, that is for your to fill your onboard water tank. So this van is equipped with 3 different tanks. One is your what will be your potable water or drinking water that you carry with you. That's what that connection is, to fill that onboard tank. And there's also a gray tank, which is all the water that goes down the sink. And there's another tank called the black tank, and that's what goes down the toilet. So 3 different water tanks. This other connection that we have here, that is our city water connection. So if you connect a water hose to that, you will get pressurized water inside that bypasses the onboard water over here. That's if you're someplace with access to full hookups, right? This connection is where you connect your big extension cord, your shore power cord. And then below, down there's another water hose connection. That is to rinse out your tanks. So you connect a water hose on there, turn it on, and that will allow you to rinse out the inside of your holding tank. So of course on this side we have our gray tank, and on the other side we have our black tank. So this flush is for the gray tank. They're side by side, right? And on this side is another connection. That is the dump for the black tank. And then there's a flush down here for the black tank. And also there's this tube. See that tube right there? That holds your sewer hose. Sewer hose is included. It's inside that tube. Very basic hose, but the nice thing about it is that it fits in that tube. Some of the fancy heavy-duty hoses will not fit in that tube. That's why that basic hose is very nice. It'll actually fit in there. Other things we have here, of course, you have your hitch, 7-way connector right there. Looking back here in the back, we have this toilet area. Well, I'll say toilet area, but it's looking here in the back. We have microwave, just a regular microwave. It's not convection, just regular microwave. We have our refrigerator. See that dial right there? That is where you control the temperature on the refrigerator, or you can turn it all the way counterclockwise to turn it off. It's also the main power for it is up front, though. We'll talk about that more here in a minute. This does have a little lock. You can lock right there so it does not open while you're traveling down the road. Sink. You have some storage up there, and you have an exhaust fan. See that? The toilet is an electric flushed toilet with a macerator system. It pumps the stuff into the tank. So very nice setup. You have buttons there for flushing. You have normal. You have eco, which uses less water. Highly recommend the normal because this doesn't move very much stuff. And then this button is to empty it. So when you're going to hit the road, you want to hit empty so stuff isn't splashing out of the toilet. Back here in the back also is where your inverter lives. Typically you don't have to do nothing with this stuff back here. That all runs automatically, but I'm just showing you where it's at. Your Apple TV also lives in there. Back here in the back also is this area where all the electronics, or some of the electronics, are housed. This is your router for your onboard internet that Midwest Automotive Designs installs for you. Normally you don't have to. You can activate this without having to mess with it. So you should be able to do that from the inside. This is our control center, or our G12 board. That is the circuit board that operates all the Firefly touch control system components. You also have, these are 12-volt fuses under that cover, and there's 110-volt breakers on the inside. That is the short power cord that connects the vehicle, the van, to power for charging the batteries and also supplying electricity to run components inside. Now on this side, we have outlets, 110 outlets. Then we have HDMI out and a coax out. That's if you want to set up a TV here on the outside for tailgating, stuff like that, any kind of outdoor activity. The other thing we have here, of course, is our sliding door. Now this door is electric. That being said, you don't want to tug on this like a manual door. We just do that. See that? Electric moves for us. You can also control it with this button from the inside. You can press the button, it moves. I can press it again and it'll stop it. So you can stop it at any time just by tugging the handle or pressing the button once again. Right? And it'll change direction every subsequent press. Right? So right there it's open. Now we're going to hop inside and take a look at some of the stuff on the inside. So we're inside. Now we're going to close the door. And we are going to maybe turn off this heat. Have the heat going on, is pretty warm. So Things on the inside, of course, the camper stuff, right? We have Mercedes truck stuff here in the front. And then, of course, we have our RV type stuff here in the back. The Mercedes stuff, well, this is like a Mercedes car or truck. All those components, I'll briefly touch on that before the end of the video. But most of that stuff, if you know how to operate a car, you know, you're going to know how to operate most of this stuff up here. However, we do have, see these buttons here? So you have that button that says Master Power. So that button that says Master Power, that is the main power that turns on the power for all the stuff back here. If that button's not on, none of this stuff here in the back works. The other blue button, that is the refrigerator power. So the reason you have a separate button for the refrigerator is that Midwest gives you the ability to turn on the refrigerator and operate the refrigerator independently of the rest of the power back here. And the reason for that is maybe you're just on a long road trip, just you by yourself, or maybe you and a companion, and you don't need the rest of the stuff in the back to be on, so you can have the master power off, but you do have maybe some soft drinks in the refrigerator you'd like to keep cold, so that way you can operate the refrigerator independently. Make sense? Also, the driver does have a screen here. That touch screen allows the driver to control a number of things here in the back, like lighting, the radio, the AC for the back, the AC and heating for the back, water pump, different things. So, okay, so hope that makes sense. Again, so if that power's not on, stuff back here will not work. So that's why we have our power on. Now as we come into the van, you're going to see we have more of these touch screens. Then we have another touch screen here in the back. This is our main screen, right? That's got a lot more stuff on it. So as we come in, we're going to see we have 2 captain's chairs in the back, plus of course the 2 in the front. All of these chairs they're heated and they're massaging chairs. They see the controls here. So all 4 of these captain's chairs have those features. These here in the back second row do have the added capability of these extendable footrests. And all 4 of these chairs also have heat. See this? You can control the heat right here. Oops, I turned on the massager. Let's turn that off. So all 4 of these chairs have heat, right? These second row ones have those knobs right there to turn on the heat. Also, we have our Fusion radio right there with HDMI and USB inputs from there. You also have a 110 outlet there on the bottom, and you have a nice little lap tray here that pulls out like so, right? And of course you have your media stuff. We'll get more into that here in a bit. Also, as we come back, you see we have additional cup holders, and there's USB ports. I don't know if you can quite make them out, but there's USB ports. That's what that green light is. And outlets. These seats, of course, these fold. You cannot actually fold this out flat. It'll come out to like right here. So will this one. When both of these are laid flat, this basically makes a bed right here. So there is also storage underneath here. So as we come to the back, we're going to talk about what are we going to talk? We're going to talk about this main touch control panel. So the way this stuff works, see these icons here on the side? Each one of those icons is a different page on this screen. So we have home screen, you can see we have different pages. So we're going to talk about this stuff and how to use it. So here on our home page, we have a light master. So by pressing that, we can turn all the lights off on at once. We also have display that shows us our tanks. We can see our fresh tank, gray tank, black tank that I talked about earlier. So those, you can view them here and see how much stuff we have in there, right? So we can see that the fresh tank has 80% in there. That's our potable water. Our gray shows 10%, black shows 20%. So those do have a little bit of water because they were testing stuff and making sure stuff's working. So additionally, we have a water pump. Just so you know, blue is on. Grayed out like that is off. So this water pump is an on-demand pump. So right now, even though we're not connected to any kind of water, we can use the water that's in this water tank. So if I open the sink here in the back bathroom area, water will come out courtesy of this on-demand pump. Now that pump is not running, even though it's on right now. It's an on-demand pump. It only runs when it senses that you open the faucet or flush the toilet. It's not gonna, even though it's been on, it's not running. It's sitting there silently waiting for you to do something. So it's okay to leave that on when you're traveling. If you're using the stuff back here in the back, it won't run. It just sits there quietly waiting for you to turn something on. Now the other thing we have here is tank heaters. Now that is not to be confused with a water heater. That's not going to give you hot water at your sink. This van is not equipped with a water heater. This has tank heaters. Now what these are, just imagine an electric blanket that is glued to the underside of these tanks. And the purpose of that is to prevent your tanks from perhaps freezing if you're traveling through someplace, an area that is very cold, that's below freezing. Water, if it gets below freezing, that could potentially damage the plumbing and stuff, anything that has water in this van. So that is the purpose of this tank heater that runs off of 12 volts. Also, this van is equipped with two different batteries. So you have a house battery and you have a chassis battery. So the chassis battery is the one that's for the engine, the type of battery that a normal car or truck would have. And then you have a house battery, and that's for all the camper related or RV related stuff that's here in the back. It's two independent batteries. So anytime the engine is running, that's charging both batteries. So as you can see, they are both charging right now. Normally these would be at like around 13 volts or so, but because we have the engine running currently, it's charging both battery banks. Normally you're not going to worry so much about voltage. Your main what I tell people usually is just keep an eye on the color. If you see green, that means things are good. That means the batteries are happy. If you see these turning yellow, that means they're getting low. If you see them red, the whole thing's fixing to shut down. So very rare you would see something like that. Usually they stay in the green. But just so you know, just look for the color. Green means good. So other thing we have here, we can adjust the set point of the AC or heater right here. You don't turn it on here. This is just to adjust the set point and see what that's set at. Another thing we have here, we have a link to this Fusion radio. We can operate our radio from here. Turn on the radio, turn it off. Same thing, the driver has that little panel where you can operate the Fusion radio as well. The Fusion radio is actually this radio that's right here, recessed into that side panel. But as you can see, anywhere you have one of these touch panels, you have access to control that radio. So back here to our home page. So from there we can jump over to our lighting page. In here, once again, we have our light master. We can dim the lights from here. We can put them at full brightness by holding the on. Exterior master, well, you don't have, this van is not equipped with exterior lights, so you don't have nothing to like, this doesn't do anything. We just have our interior lights to mess with. These are all dimmable by holding the your finger on these buttons here. Additionally, we have this page that, again, this is our electrical page. Once again, this shows us our batteries and our inverter. Now the inverter comes on by default. Normally you want that on. It should always, like, normally this page you don't even have to look at it. It's just everything here runs in the background, runs automatically. However, if you wanted to, you could turn off the inverter to maybe if you're trying to conserve electricity for some reason. The inverter is what's taking electricity from this house battery, taking 12-volt electricity and making 110 volts to feed stuff like TVs, like these front TV and the over here and the back TV, and as well as the microwave and the outlets that you find in the front and back, the 110 outlets. So this is taking 12 volts, making 110. So if you have this turned off, of course, none of this 110 stuff is going to work, right? Sometimes, like some people that are trying to conserve electricity might want to turn the inverter off, because even when you're not using 110 stuff, this running in standby mode is still going to use some electricity. So normally you don't need, like I said, you don't need to mess with that stuff. That's for people that are maybe spending a lot, maybe days out somewhere in the wilderness with no access to shore power, and they don't want to have to run their engine constantly to charge batteries. Anyway, enough about that. So this page here has our HVAC controls. So here you can see we can turn on our air conditioner. We can press cool, right? And then it fires up for us. So here's where we adjust the temperature. And as long as you have this in auto, it's going to regulate the fan speed. Right there, it's running it on H, which is high. Or you can manually set it to different speeds. Maybe it's too loud and high and you want it nice and quiet because you're watching a movie back here. Or you set it on auto. Or you can turn it off. Like right there, I turned it off. It'll take a little bit to turn off. There is a delay. You can also set it to heat, and that'll give you heat. And just keep in mind the heat, it's going to take some time to get hot because the heat works off of the engine. If the engine is, you just started the engine and it's still cold, it's just similar to the dash heat on the car or truck. It's going to take a little while for that heat to build up and give you heat. So additionally, we have this page. This has our internet. Remember that router, that internet router that I showed you in the back? That's our internet router that's installed by Midwest Automotive Designs. There is documentation inside this satchel right here that you see right here. This has all our manuals and including documentation on how to activate the internet. I believe through AT&T or Verizon you can subscribe to internet service and basically make this whole entire van a hotspot. And this is where you would turn on that router. You can turn off power to it. Then the last page is our page with our settings. Not a lot to do here. We can adjust the brightness on this screen. We can turn on cleaning mode. Cleaning mode will turn off the screen for 15 seconds to allow you to wipe the screen. You can set it to auto dim so it dims according to the available daylight. Network diagnostics is mainly for technicians to do diagnostic work on the system if there's a problem. Mobile app, it does not have that capability. That capability can be added. However, if you wanted to be able to control everything from your phone via smart app, you can change it to Celsius. I don't know how you'd want to, but you could. Set the time. Floor plan is set at the factory. So that is your settings page. And that covers everything on this main control panel. Other things to talk about back here, of course, we have one TV recessed into this door that goes to the back. We have shades. These are manual. You pull them up and preferably around the center. Don't do it from the edges. That little black thing right there, that is a temperature sensor for the HVAC system. And as I said before, all your manuals are in here. All the manuals to all the appliances and equipment on here, including there's a pouch that's got all the Mercedes related stuff, and there are 3 fobs inside that pouch. There is another fob up there, so you have a total of 4 fobs that Mercedes in Midwest supplied with this van. Other things, as I think previously mentioned, there's USB ports here. There's some here on the bottom. There's more over here, more up front. So you got USB ports all over the place, as well as 110 outlets. Well, maybe on this side. Here you go. There's another one up front. And there's a button. I don't know if you can see it, but see that little rocker switch? That is to turn on the outside speakers. This van is equipped with outside speakers that are mounted on the underneath that running board that's outside this door right here. So they're special outdoor speakers. They will not get damaged out in the elements. They're like marine grade outdoor speakers. Other things to look at. So we're going to talk about this media stuff and how this works. So right now we got two TVs, and here's our remotes for our stuff. So one thing to help you remember, we have a small remote and a big remote. The small remote is for the big TV. The big remote is for the small TV. Right? Maybe that helps you remember. And then of course we have an Apple TV remote, because we have Apple TV, right? So the way this works, so I can use my Samsung remote. I can press the home button. That'll get me to the settings. And I can go to source. I can go to this one right here. It says HDMI 1. HDMI 1 is how you access the Apple TV. Well, if it's on, it might be turned off at the moment. Let's turn it on. So, I turn it on with this remote. So right there, that's the Apple TV. So the Apple TV is on HDMI 1. So otherwise, I can go back to home and scroll here to source, back to TV, and we're back to the TV. Now right now, in case you're wondering, this is not cable or anything like that. We're watching, this is our TV antenna. So the van is equipped with a TV antenna on the roof, and it's pulling in, those are local channels that come out crystal clear, HD quality. So those are our local Baton Rouge channels. Of course, once this van gets to your particular city, wherever you live, you'll have to do a channel scan to find whatever channels are local to you in that region. Now for the back TV, we have a different remote, but same thing. You're just going to hit source button here to change it to HDMI 1 if you want to get to the Apple TV. Otherwise, you'll go back to TV and see regular channels, like so. Now, the sound for these TVs, in order to get sound, the sound for this TV right here comes to us through these two speakers. But you have to set the input on this radio. This is the input. It's got to be set to aux 1. See that? If you have it set to FM, well, you're going to get FM radio. Right? So if you want to go back to the sound for the TV, you're going to go to aux 1. So now you get the sound for the TV. Now you also have Bluetooth. Now this particular Fusion radio is not optioned with the satellite module, but it does have that capability. You can add the satellite module for a small fee. I think it's like $50-$60. You can add the module that plugs into the back of this and gives it satellite radio capability. But again, that's, as it stands, it does not come with it. So you have AM, FM, aux 1, Bluetooth. The AM is in there. You have to activate the AM. It's I think currently turned off. But it does have that capability. Now, for another thing we can do, we can plug in, if you have an HDMI adapter for your phone, you can plug that in and basically view your phone screen on this TV. Same thing with a laptop. If you got a laptop that's got an HDMI out, that'll plug in there, and again, you can view the contents of the screen from your laptop up there. Now, the other thing we should talk about. So, what about the back TV? The back TV doesn't have any speakers. So how do we get sound? The sound for the back TV only comes from one place. And that's through the use of these wireless headphones. So bear with me here while I open these. So we got these wireless headphones. So here on these headphones, you'll see we have a volume knob or slider control, little wheel. Then we have a switch. The switch, as you can see, says off, A, or B. So off is off, right? What did you think it was going to be? So off is off, and A, if you listen to these, you're going to have to trust me on this. We're listening to the front TV. So the front TV, you can listen with the speakers up here or with the headphones on A. The back TV is B. Switch this to B, and now you're listening to the sound for the back TV. Again, you're gonna have to trust me on this. Right now, in the back TV, of course, you can be watching something different. So, for example, 2 different programs, and you can have 2 different sound here depending on which TV. So remember, A, front TV, B, back TV. Let's put this back out. So that is how we get sound on this van. Put that back. And both of these run on AAA batteries. So you're going to want to have extra batteries because these are not rechargeable, which is, I think, a good thing, because once the batteries get low, because somebody's going to inevitably leave that switch on and it's going to die. So the nice thing about having just batteries you can swap out, so when the kids leave the switch on and the batteries go dead, simply swap out the batteries and you're good to go. So carry a pack of batteries. So you got 2 of these headphones, and then of course your remotes for your TVs are right here. So that's it for stuff here in the back. One thing I'm going to mention here on this sliding glass door, you have a button. That's the unlock button. Sometimes, like this shade, you pull it down manually to close it. Sometimes people accidentally, when they're closing this, will hit this button and close and lock the button. And if you don't realize you did that, and you hit that button to open this door electrically, it's not going to open. It's going to act like the button's not working. We get that call sometimes, people saying like, "Hey, my sliding door is not working." And the first thing we usually ask is, did you accidentally lock that button? Because that'll prevent this door from operating. So check that if your door is not working. Another thing we have here is that knob. So that knob, you turn that knob and basically turn this into a manual door. This is for emergency use. Let's say that the battery went dead in the van. Let's say that for whatever reason it just stopped working. Turning that knob will disengage the electric part and essentially make this a manual door that you can operate with that button up there on top. All right, so moving on to the front. As I touched on earlier, power buttons, right? Master power and refrigerator button. Then we have our normal cockpit stuff. It is a push button that you start there. You have to have the key somewhere in the front, like in your pocket, in a purse, just cup holder, anywhere up here in the front, maybe the pocket of this door, someplace up front, right? If you don't have it here up front, it's going to tell you that you need to bring it up front, otherwise it's not going to start. You must put your foot on the brake and then press the button to start. This fob communicates with the computer, the Mercedes computer on the van, by radio frequency. If the fob is not recognized, let's say you could potentially one day go to press the fob to start and it doesn't start. It says that you need to bring the fob, in so many words, up here, and you're thinking, well, it is right here. It could be because there's too much interference, radio interference. Sometimes that can happen if you're someplace that's very congested, like there's a lot, like a truck stop, like a RV park, someplace where there's a lot of radio interference. So simply what you would do in that case is you would take the fob, and there's a little hole down here at the bottom of the center of the dash. You stick it in that hole nice and snugly, and then put your foot on the brake and press start, and that'll fire right up. And then pull it back out, and you'll probably never have that problem again. That is how you get around that. Additionally, up here in the front, you do have a button to open the side door, so you don't have to leave your driver's seat to open the door. Press it again to close it. Traditional air conditioning controls. Now on here on the dash, on the steering wheel, you do have these. See these little black squares? Those are like touch control pads, kind of like a mouse pad. So from this, you can control this screen on the left, like so. See that? I don't know if this is flashing on the screen, but I can assure you in real life it's not flashing on the video feed. I imagine it looks like it's just flickering, which it's not. So anyway, so this little pad controls this screen. This little pad controls this main screen over here. So you can, just by swiping your finger across this, move across the screen. And you can press enter by pressing it in. You have a home button and a back button right here. These other controls are for the adaptive cruise, and then these controls are for your radio, for your phone, like if you pair your phone to this screen here. It does have navigation with that button, or using your touch. It's a touch screen, so you can just touch it, or you can press this button here, and that brings up the camera view, front and rear. Right there is defaulting to the front view, but if I wanted to, I can look at the back. I can do the 360, which gives us a full view from overhead. I can go back to telephone here if I want to connect my phone, radio. Very nice system. Additionally, we have a little cubby up here it's got a wireless charging pad up there where you can set your phone and it'll charge, and it does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, courtesy of that plug on the left. It's got two more cubbies up here and over here. And these vents, of course, you can open and close them by turning this knob clockwise and counterclockwise. The steering wheel, or the shifter right here, is there's a park button right at the end of the stock right here. That to put it in park, you press that button. Otherwise, reverse is up, drive is down. I hope that all makes sense and you find this useful. That's going to bring us to the end of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Again, this is Frank with the RV Shop in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we'll see you on the next one.